So every coach that has ever gone to work for Herm Edwards that I've had the pleasure of interviewing has some amazing story of how they fell for Herm Edwards. What is yours, and how did this happen?
Well, so I had never had any contact with Coach Edwards until the championship week when I was at Boise. So we were playing Hawaii in the championship game, and he had called me early that week just for a brief conversation. And we had a 5-10 minute conversation, and he understood the situation I was in, in the middle of a game week and preparing for that championship game. But he just let me know that he wanted me to come down and talk some ball and just see what happened. And so I had that opportunity. We won the championship there at Boise. And then the next week, out recruiting a little bit. And then I went down to Phoenix, came down here for an interview, and had a chance to talk to him. And really, the first time being in the same room, you see so many things of him, on TV and the head coach. And I can honestly say my dad's a head football coach too. So like he loves Herm Edwards, and so I've always kind of had a little bit of that, influence too with me. But, for the interview, it was a little surreal, being in that room, and, Marvin Lewis and some of the other guys, that were here. And it was fun, but it's the same type of guy that you see on all the ads, or all the everything on TV. It's the same stuff. I mean, he's a great person. He's got great energy. He's that way all the time. It's not just the one-liners on TV. We got one-liners laughing out on a daily basis here in the office. So, but yeah, my first time, being able to meet him, it was a little, I was a little awestruck for sure.
I love that. All right. So at the end of the year, we're going to do another interview, and I hope you or maybe your GA can write down the one-liners. We can go through all the one-liners.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. We can do that for sure. We can knock them out.
All right. So when Coach Edwards came up to you and said, "Hey, we're going to allow the Pac-12 networks and Yogi to sit in on an offensive install meeting," what was your response?
That's great. That's awesome. I think it's great for the program in a lot of different ways. The media exposure helps us in recruiting. It helps us in from a brand, that perspective. And we want to be that, a school that's taken the initiative, in certain areas. And, this school is known for the innovation and the things they're doing on campus. And Coach Edwards is so proactive with the media and everything. So I looked at it as a great opportunity, and it's nice to be able to get to know you guys, better, me being new to the Pac-12. And so I was all for it.
Okay, so set the scene for our listeners and viewers. What was the offensive meeting like? Who was there, and what was the goal?
So our offensive meeting was basically all the offensive players, all of our coaches. The goal was to the biggest thing was to get their mindset, right on the motivation of what they're doing right now. So to try to trigger them back into, oh yeah, we're going to be playing a game at some point. And what do I need to be doing in preparation to that point? And then also we wanted to include a little bit of install, and then some situational knowledge. So our FBI, the football intelligence, that's what we've been hitting on this week, last week, with clutch and 2-minute and 4-minute. And, so today we did overtime and backed up and got some situational football in.
Yeah, it was evident. I mean, you had, for whatever it's worth, incredible command from my lens as it was going, and kept it fun, entertaining. And I want to touch upon the entertaining side of it. Like, teaching, I feel, as though can't necessarily be like, here's the assignment, here's how to work on the assignment, now give me the result. Like, how have you woven in the art of entertaining through education?
Oh man, that's a great question. And it's exactly what it is. Especially now that kids are so used to multitasking and doing this and that, and there's so much stuff going on. You can't have an hour meeting and have it be redundant all the way through, or monotone, or you're just working on one thing. And so that's, I think, the art in this teaching and coaching world, is to hopefully be able to start off quick, grab their attention, and then to keep them moving. and sometimes in the quarterback room, it's them getting up out of their seats, and and that's the unfortunate thing, with these Zoom meetings. You can't do a lot of that type of stuff, but they'll get out of their seats and they've got to make their calls, make the checks. All right, here's the play call. All right, you see cover two. What's your signal adjust? What's the signals to this? All that type of stuff. You can interact and engage them and ask them a ton of questions. With the Zoom meetings, you got all the mics off. You don't want a whole lot of that chatter and all that stuff. So you got to find those pauses, those breaks. Do some video, do some PowerPoint, voiceover type stuff. So you make the Zoom meetings as good as you can. But as far as when you actually have everybody together, the more you can keep them moving and engaged in here. And all right, look over here, and you're kind of weaving your magic a little bit.
You showcased an epic game in this conference, Oregon, Arizona State, triple overtime. What did you notice about guys when you show them a tangible example of Mike Bercovici was on the staff last year and he's dealing in that game? Do you notice when you bring something that they pseudolily lived through or recruited through, what it does to them?
No doubt. Yeah. They're always engaged when it's real to them. Like, okay, here's a real game. Here's the crowd going nuts. Here's the, everybody's, they got the commentator going and like, all right, here it is. It's game like, and you can kind of get that feel, a little that sense, and so making that teaching a little bit more real using those game examples, I think hits home with them a little bit more. And then, all right, you got to be ready for this situation. We could be in overtime against Oregon or SC or, whoever we're playing. And that's the mindset that they got to be in. And I challenge them, all the time to go out to practice. Some of the best quarterbacks I've ever had, they go out to practice and they see the crowd and they can visualize it. It's game day, and so we were watching Vernon Adams today, right? For Oregon. And he was that kid when I had him at Eastern Washington. He was the kid that would run out during practice and he'd be pumping up the crowd and he'd be catching punts and he'd be doing this and that. It was game day to him, man. And he loved it. And so that's the challenge. And I think the great ones make it game day and make it fun and compete all the time. And then, you got the other guys that can't do that and it's not as fun to them.
So as an offensive coordinator, the guy who develops game plans all the time, what is it like now going up against, in air quotes, a defense called coronavirus where you may or may not know its next move?
I think the big part of this time of life, and it doesn't even matter if you're a coach or whatever job you're in, the good ones, I think you got to have that mindset of you're ready to adjust at any time. The good ones adjust, and so we're taking it week to week. What can we do this week to get better at what we're doing? What can we control? Because again, a lot of the stuff's out of our control anyway. So talk to our guys about focusing on, what you can control on a day-to-day basis, have a good attitude, have great effort, get your mindset right, and then, so, you're just working on those things. And then you got a plan, you have multiple plans for when this whole thing could start up again. But yeah, you do what you can, and you got to be flexible and ready to adjust.
What are you most looking forward to?
Well, one, getting back to actually playing football, and I think every coach misses the feel of, being out on the practice field, being in meetings, and then definitely games. I mean, you get a lot of your energy and a lot of your juice for this job because of the games, and that's the fun part. Let those guys go out and fly around and let them show what you taught them and all that stuff. But I think that's the biggest thing that we're looking forward to again, and just hoping that it comes sooner than later.